So I decided to make this video to show just my setup for photography. Um, it's it's a little bit fancier than putting it on your bed or your carpet and good old feet shot. But it's super simple just because I've got two kids and I got no time to really nerd out on this stuff anymore. I used to dabble. Um, in photography, mostly landscape and kind of weirdo infrared stuff. I do have a garage where I can set up a little mini studio in, but that garage is just full of stuff right now that I need to organize, and it's not getting done anytime soon. So right now I'm doing the quick and dirty in my kitchen. You can see kids, eating area, shoe rack, kitchen counter, dishwasher. Yeah, I'm in my kitchen. Um, but it gives decent results. So I'm gonna do this until I get something else set up or whatever. But primarily for me, it was just being able to pack it all up because I can't leave this stuff out with the kids running around. It doesn't make any sense. So let me start off with the more important part. The camera's not important. The most important part is the cheapest, actually, which is this piece of felt. I got this at a kind of hobby store, like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Joann Fabrics would all have this stuff. It's just a piece of felt that's in heather gray, I guess, or some sort of, it's like a patterned gray. And I like the way it comes out. It's a little bit more interesting than black. But that's my personal preference. I would recommend felt because it doesn't fold. It doesn't, it folds, but it doesn't leave creases. And that's good because if you try to use any kind of cloth and you need to fold it up to put it away, you're going to get creases and then they're going to show up and it looks kind of, amateur hour. So apart from that, pretty basic here. I'll show you what's in the frame. I got my paintbrush, which I just used to kind of brush off any kind of dust or lint. I've got a ruler, just basically to be able to find the center spot or the center point of my subject, and then I line up my step stool with it because I do take my photos from an elevated position. Real ghetto, but it packs up easy. So, I center up the step stool to where the center is. It's kind of hard to sometimes just eyeball the center, just because usually, rifles tend to be heavier on one end visually, and it kind of throws off your brain. So that's what the yardstick is for. Don't really need this. You can just use a white sheet of paper, but I have it, so it's basically just a color chart that I can set white balance, and it's really all I'm going to do with it. You can do fancier stuff with it, but not for this, not for me. Some compressed air, again, just to get rid of any kind of dust or whatever, if you're going to be picky about it. And then my camera setup, I've got a Nikon D700 from the way back when I did other kind of photography. But it works fine. You're just taking stills, nothing fancy. This was a high-end camera. You don't need a high-end camera. You just use an entry-level, even point and shoot, you could. Although something with a hot shoe is going to get you really good results with a flash, which is why I'm using a flash. Because I have really crummy lighting in my kitchen. I'm not going to install fancy lights for this. Again, it needs to pack up. So I'm using portable flashes. These are cheapo Chinesium flashes, but they have a lot of features, and I've used them for a long time, at least this brand. So these are brand new model, but I've used this brand for a while, and they're great for general purpose flash photography. These are called Yongnuo. That's the brand. You can find them on Amazon, eBay. Super cheap stuff. If you're just going to give you the rundown on the flash setup, most people aren't really familiar with flashes, but I'm not going to give you flash 101 here. I got 3 external flashes set up. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3 on the shoe rack. So I got coverage on the left, the center, and the right. And all these are firing up. So they're going to illuminate part of this wall, and they're going to illuminate the ceiling. I've got white walls, white ceiling, So we're going to get a pretty neutral bounce. So it's going to be a real nice soft light from these three. And my flash controller conveniently has 3 groups. So I can independently set on my flash controller the output, the intensity of all 3 flashes to balance them out, or to do some sort of effect or whatever. But for the most part, I'm going to be balancing it out, which is nice because I can control everything from this controller and not have to walk over and touch these things when I'm shooting. And then I get on my step stool and I, frame up, take my picture, and I'm done. And I pack all this stuff up before my, kids tear it apart. So I think that's it in a nutshell. Oh yeah, the lens is a macro lens, but you don't need a macro lens for this. You're not shooting that close for macro work. So any kind of prime would be great, but you could use, if you're going to just start out with this kind of stuff, you can use an entry-level camera with an entry-level lens, and that'll be great. Oh, I was going to say, these things are super cheap. When I was doing flash stuff years ago, these like kind of feature-rich flashes were about $300, $400, up to $500 each. These flashes are $60 each, and they have all the features that I need, and a lot more features than I had when I got into this. So about $180 worth of flashes, and this controller was only like $35. In kind of the flash photography world, at least a couple of years ago, that's kind of throwaway money. That's a disposable, but I'm loving this setup. Hopefully I'm going to get a lot of good photos out of this setup. So yeah, there it is.